Um, you still hear me all good, Dibbo?
Yeah, good.
All right, excellent. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Kennel NRL podcast. We had some really weird technical issues today, which is why we're a little bit late, and we're going to be probably around just for about half an hour. But I do like to would like to welcome everybody once again to the podcast. With you know, where as Ramadan comes to an end, we will be changing the way we do things, and we will be building some great things, hopefully, as we go. Look, it is, as we say, one of those days, but um, it's been a great start to the season for the Bulldogs. We're 3-0. We're the only team in the competition that has won all three of its starting games. Melbourne, sure, are on the same points, but they've had a bye and we haven't. So we're off to a great start. And with me once again to discuss all things Bulldogs is Dibbo. Dibbo, welcome and thank you for putting up with us. Rambunctious Bulldogs supporters as our team wins and yours doesn't.
It's all right. Things will change this week. We'll get Melbourne for you guys, so you will be the lone team on 3 wins.
That'd be fantastic if you can get Melbourne.
Oh yeah,
That'd be great.
you guys got a tough game against Cronulla.
Um, I do believe we do have a tough game against Cronulla, but before that, I sort of want to talk about the bludger of a game that was the Dogs and the Eels.
Horrible
Um,
game.
as a fan, I have my thoughts, but I'm very keen to sort of get your opinion on that game and who you thought stood out for you, both from the Bulldogs and from the Eels.
One of the worst games I've seen this year. Not the worst of all time. I don't think Para were great. It's just you guys weren't even good at all. But again, you didn't even play well and got the win. Just shows you where Parramatta's at. Obviously your team was hampered by injuries. Um, you know, you had Sexton at 7, and then new partner, halves partner in Hayward. So that took some getting used to. Missing some forwards. I thought Curran was good for you guys. Was in everything, including reffing the game as well. So that was a bit funny to watch.
Yeah,
Connor Tracy,
I want to get to that for sure, but yeah, go on.
Connor Tracy was great. There was a tackle he pulled off. Oh, who did he nail right short of the line? It was
Yeah,
a great tackle.
it was a mad tackle. That was a
Yeah,
great tackle. You're right.
he's up against the Fox. Now he's become a foe. He showed out some of his finishing prowess out wide. And his centers were solid as usual. I think, Sherry's getting harder to tackle. He seems to just keep getting harder and harder every week to tackle. Obviously, Crichton doesn't never seems to have a bad game. I think Marnie's can improve. He needs to improve immensely. It was some dummy half runs he took early netted in 1 or 2 meters. Some of his passing was a bit sus. Your best would probably that from that game I thought was either Curran or Preston. So those two they always seem to play out of their skin. And I think Curran's eligible for state of origin, isn't he? He's Aboriginal by background. He's
Yeah, I think he could play for the new for he can play for the Blues for sure.
he wouldn't look out of place. I mean Preston's obviously knocking on the door, so yeah.
I think Preston will be absolutely fantastic for the Blues. That'd be such a mad situation
I
for
like
Preston to find himself in.
I like how Saluka Fafetta scored that nice tray up the guts. That was nice.
What a run! What an excellent run by Saluka Fafita.
Yeah, that was good. Tipanua, some charging runs obviously would have. They didn't start him for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think one of the problems is that he serves a purpose. I think he serves a purpose
I just thought this was the game he
coming
should have
off the
started.
bench.
Just get stuck into it right away. I reckon he serves a better purpose off the bench, maybe against the stronger sides. But this is a game I thought, should have started. That's what I thought. I mean, the Dogs, look, they were missing Burton's long kicks, high kicks. They're used to him calling the shots, playing his style. So it showed out there today. Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, I haven't checked the lineup yet, basically. I thought Montoya went all right for you guys. That's what I thought anyway.
Yeah, I thought. Look, I so I'm gonna start with Toby Sexton. Um, what I want to say about Toby Sexton is, look, this guy started, last year in New South Wales Cup. We had Hutchinson there. Obviously, our attack wasn't that great, and this year, um, so we've started with Sexton as our seven, and we're 3 from 3. Look, I'm not saying that we would have been 3 and 3 had Sexton started last year, but I do think that Sexton being our number seven is definitely making a difference for our team. To see him, break the record for meters kicked in a rugby league game, considering he isn't even our main kicker. I think that says a lot. To be honest, I think that's credit where it's due. We would have been in a much worse position had Sexton not taken the I guess the impetus to make those decisions. So for me, it's I couldn't believe how good he played given the situation that he was in.
Yeah, look, I mean, he still got the biscuits home at the end of the day. Um, did his part in defence as well. Kept the pressure on Parramatta. Tried to kick him out of trouble. Controlled the game to try to keep it down there. I mean, Para had their moments, obviously, with some poor. I wouldn't say poor, maybe soft penalties given away. Some of the players became complacent, so Para would get some piggybacks down the other end in a good sway of position their way. But yeah, he's just held his own and got the W. That's the main thing. He just didn't play well, but he's got the win. And again,
Yeah, we did get the win.
I'll stress Para didn't play all that great. If anything, it was just Lomax carrying the whole team.
Look, I don't think it was Lomax carrying the whole team. Like their defensive efforts were much better, and I thought Junior Paulo had a much better performance.
Needs to do better. That was still below par. I mean, he's a leader. He's their prop. They let Gillard go to keep him. I know I'm being critical here, but I'm being fair income. If anything, I would have let him go and kept Gillard. He's not being the leader they expect of Junior Bolo. It's like he needs an immense forward pack next to him to fire. I mean,
But
now their
my point
backs are
is that
against the wall, and he's not
the
producing.
Do- the dogs played as
Welcome, Jamie. Bear. Oh, Bear. Yeah, the high tone for Canterbury. Oh, good. Anyway, sorry. Go on. I was just
as
reading
someone's
some comments.
mentioned. Yeah, someone's mentioned, as B Massive mentioned in the comments, we played safe footy. We played defensive style of footy, and I think this was probably something that Seraldo wanted to see from
I
the
don't think
boys
they
because
played
we had.
safe. I think they were very flat. They really need to improve this week. That was look. I'm saying it now. They didn't play their best, and they still got the win.
Yeah, look,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, it's look, to be honest, it's great. I'm happy that we're able to win ugly. We were able to win in such a bludger of a match. And to be honest, like the Bulldogs, um, if we want to be the top four, we need to be able to win these games.
Yeah.
Last year we were able to win them, but I feel like we're in a much better position today than we were even at the end of last year in terms of how we're playing and how we're winning. And I think the game against the Eels was a great um, a great uh, I mean, it was a great way to see. It was a great growth moment for Toby. That's what I'm trying to say. Toby grew after that game, and he said that was the toughest 40 minutes he'd been a part of. The Eels were desperate. Like you could see that they were in absolute desperation mode, and the Bulldogs weren't really attacking. It's like look. I think ultimately what it comes down to is
Oh,
the Bulldogs came to play a really poor Eels team, and a spirited,
it
desperate Eels
was.
team showed up. I think
Yeah,
that's what happened.
I don't think it was a safe performance. I think it was a dreadful performance from Canterbury. They should have, despite missing their 5/8, they should have put easy 30 plus on the Eels. Honestly,
I don't look. I don't disagree with you. I think that the Bulldogs
and
potentially
and Para gets no credit here because honestly, like Canterbury. played well below par. It shows how horrible Parramatta is. You
I
know, I
think
mean,
it's a
you,
little bit unfair. I think it's a little bit unfair that Para doesn't get any credit. I do think that Para played a lot better than they did the first 2 weeks.
I reckon Jason Roll's going to be the first coach sacked. They look out of sorts completely, and that's regardless if you're missing your halfback. Um, I thought their halfback was one of the better players on the field. Some good
Yeah,
kicks
Dean
into the
Hawkins, yeah,
corners,
kicked very wood.
but
Yeah, he did.
just this, other than that, the side just seems like they're not set. Not they seem a bit disjointed, like very disjointed. There's just seems like there's no repertoire or anything going.
Uh, they don't have anything. I think they lack a lot of experience. They definitely lack someone like a Moses. I think Moses coming back will be the leader on the field and will make a difference for them.
Here comes
I
the
don't know how much
fanboy.
of a difference.
Here comes the fanboy force. If you read the comments,
Uh,
Burden's fanboysy.
who's Burden's fanboy?
Brian, I think for 2 years he's been saying, oh, yeah, he's a 5'8", and we've been arguing with him that he's a centre. I mean, obviously he's a 5'8", and Canterbury need him there, but yeah, that's his fanboy.
Look, Burden is definitely an important cog in the
Oh,
Bulldogs.
of course he is.
And not only in the
He's
Bulldogs
there.
attack, but in the Bulldogs defense. So and I think like
Settle down, Brian. Best 5'8" in the
uh,
game.
look, I think if Burden can keep going the way he's going this year, I think he'll be one of the better 5'8" in the competition, probably in the top three. I think that um look, one of the things that I think we're missing is that Burden and Kikau, they have this 1-2 punch combo that I think a lot of people miss out on. And that is like, what happens is Burden puts in the long kicks, Kikau chases and leads our defensive line, right? They lead the defensive line. So we are not only lacking Burden's big kicks, but also the leadership of Kikau in the defensive line. If you look at the way he was attacking Fine for the Dragons, the way he was attacking Keanu Kinney for the Titans, and even Sammy and things like that, he leads that defensive line and it allows us to get up in their faces, right? That's what I think makes missing Burden and kick out so tough for the Bulldogs, but why I'm so happy with the win, because we were still able to defend and put in a tough effort. Look, you can talk shit about the Eels as much as you want. I hate the Eels more than probably anyone. I really dislike the Eels, but they played a lot better against us. And look, it was known that they were going to play a lot better coming up against the Bulldogs at their home ground at Combank. And I think the other thing that we need to keep in mind is Fox came in. He's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of energy. Things that they've lacked in the first week. Plus, Dean Hawkins, I thought, as seven, as Dibbo mentioned, added a lot for them. So, you know, I think he was. I think the Eels played a lot better, and that made us look worse than what we actually were. Um, so it was a great win. I think once again, Tracy, great job both in attack and defense. I think he's like equal fourth for Dally M points, which I think is completely on the ball as to where he's actually performing. And I would love to see that sort of continue throughout the year, because you know what, if we may not need another fullback if this guy can continue to perform the way that he's performing. You know.
So, yeah, I'm just running for the comments.
I know the
some of
comments
you,
are pretty good today.
some of your old foes are back too.
I love it. Samir Abu Williams.
I thought I saw SBW for. Was that the real SBW? Hang on a sec. Let
Nah.
me go back. Surely there was an SBW in there. Sure, I thought I saw my eyes lit up. I'm just going for the comments. Sorry, on my phone. I thought I saw him in there. Maybe not.
It's
I
definitely not
thought I saw an
SBW.
SBW in there.
No.
Dreaming. Anyway, that would have been epic. Imagine that. Uh, star of the OOs, Sonny Bill Williams, watching our
Mate,
podcast.
incredible. We'll have him on the podcast sooner or later. We'll get him.
Hopefully.
Okay.
I'm just checking. Okay.
Save.
I think
Now, and one of the other things that I think our team doesn't get enough credit for is is being able to find a way to win. I I'm
I'll
starting to
tell you,
believe. I'm
I'll t-
starting to believe that
you
we'll be
don't
a
get
tough
enough
top
credit.
four team.
I'll tell you what, you don't get enough credit for your scrambling defence. Don't worry about the missed tackles. But I till now still think you aren't getting the due credit that you guys deserve for basically scrambling defence. No one, I don't think anyone does it better in the NRL. Like you might miss more tackles than the other team during the game, but as soon as that tackle's missed, I want another one or two guys have already gone there and nailed the guy. Like it just doesn't stop.
If you look at the team statistics, we had 51% of possession. We completed at 86%, which I thought was quite good. And the way that look, I know Sexton's kicks hasn't. I think Hassan Zata mentioned that Sexton's kicks aren't as long or as high as Burton's, and granted, not many people's kicks are. But to be honest, I still feel like he did a great job. Like, can you imagine if he was he didn't have the fitness, or was handing it off to Bailey Haywood, or asking someone else to put in some kicks, as we've seen with other halfbacks in the competition? I just feel like he needs credit for that, and people are going to continue to say, he's not a first seven option, this and that. He's only 24. I'm going to die on this hill. I think that Sexton is
Could be up.
absolutely a half we can win grand final with. I do believe that. Maybe not this year, but definitely as he continues to improve and more faith is shown in him, I think he could be the one that wins us a grand final. If you look at a lot of the great halves, it did take them some time to build into it. Jamie Teasdale has given us $3 as a super chat, mate. You're an absolute legend. We'd love to have you on the podcast one day, man, just to
No,
have a
definitely,
bit of a chat.
definitely going to get him
It'll be
on.
so good to have some of you boys on. It'll be a lot of fun just to meet in person and really talk the shit like we try and do through in the comments. Thank you so much for all your support, man. Really, I appreciate it. AK's asked if you can get DCE though. Why not? It's a great question. I think it's a great question. Um, but like my thing is that if DCE comes in, is our a premiership window 2026 2027? Yes, it is. Will we be willing to sacrifice Sexton for 2 years to have DCE in there, and then sort of pass it onto Mitchell Woods? I think that could also work, but it depends how much he's asking, and also, is his body going to be able to keep up with the demands of like a top four premiership team? See, I don't even. I mean, sure, he's called it early that he's going to leave Manly, but he could sustain an ACL injury, or cop a really sort of season-ending injury, and then not be able to sign with another team again. Um, no, Brian did. What I'm saying is, if we sign DCE for 2 years, that would mean that Woods would come on 2028, 2029. But I'm just saying that in the interim, if DCE is our main seven option, can we trust that he's going to be able to handle the rigors of everyday rugby league? I mean, I don't know. Um, but Dan's mentioning that one season with DCE would be invaluable for our halves development, which is also a fair call. Look, it's a fair shout. What are your thoughts on it, like as a neutral observer, Dibbo? And also, I mean, wouldn't he be great for the Dragons to be able to build around?
Not for the Dogs. The Dogs are in the top eight. They've got some young halves. What's he going to go there for 1 year and then displace who? Well, Sexton sits out for him. I mean, he's
Yeah.
making the top eight with Sexton. He's a building on something. I wouldn't personally. The Dragons could do with him, but who wants to go play for the Dragons? Honestly,
Look.
unless it's
There's
a
no need. There's
unless
no
it's a
need.
retirement, unless it's a retirement package.
Yeah, all
But
right, but
there's some
there's no
clubs I
need
want
for
to
your
play
sob
for.
story. Look, there's no need for your sob story about the Dragons. We're just saying, feasibility wise, do you think that DCE would be good for the Dragons?
Bloody oath, he would. He's better
It'd be.
than yeah. I think he's better than all their halves they've ever had over the last 50 years or 60 years, wherever you want to put it. I'm being fair income.
that's a
Honestly,
that's a
he
big
was
call.
he was better than Soward and Hornby. He was all right. My honest opinion, I think he was. Anyways, he's their best halfback in about 60. If he was to go there, he clips all their. I think he clips all their halfbacks they ever had in that
Look,
class.
he'll be a great addition. I reckon he'll be a great addition wherever he goes. Similarly, if for example DC was to come to the Dogs, I think Sexton would have 4 or 5 uh, teams lining up to sign him as well. So and look, I think Sexton again after last week has shown he's good. I think Marnie really
Oh,
really needs to pick
I
up. I think Marnie's out of form.
it's more. Yeah, agreed,
I think Marnie's had a really bad start to the season. I love
agreed.
Marnie. Maybe there is some truth to the talk about the Bulldogs maybe wanting to move him on or whatever. But I just think that
Great
Marnie.
suggestion. Move him on.
Nah, look, I love Marnie. I don't want to move him, but I'm saying he needs to improve. I think that he's definitely out of form. I think he's trying to niggle, and the refs are all over him. He's trying to like run into markers that are not square. Even though, to be honest, I thought that there were a
He
couple
was
of times where he made
he's
some runs.
poor.
He made some runs into markers that were not square, and he should have got the penalty, or the six again, but didn't. But I just feel like he should concentrate more on giving good service, getting good ruck speed, running. Maybe he's making too many tackles. I don't know what it is with Marnie. I think nah.
I think you guys are now moving beyond him. I think you need a dummy half that really darts out from dummy half, like got some line speed, like that will complement your style of play. Jeremy Marshall King would perfectly fit the way you guys are playing at the moment.
We
Yeah,
also
he
did
zips
move.
out of there.
We did move on Jeremy Marshall King. So I mean, I'm not going to look back and say we should have kept him.
No,
I
no,
think Marnie is
obviously
great for
not.
us. I think
But you can go back and
Marnie's
get him.
nah. I would.
I
You
would move
know,
on Marnie. I reckon he's taking a lot of the cap.
I think Marnie will
I think there's
be.
halfbacks that offer more than him.
Do you mean dummy halves?
Yeah, I would,
Yeah.
at a cheaper price. Honestly,
The,
like
yeah,
even
Scott.
Scott Wood just
Yeah,
throw a
I
beauty,
swear, I was just gonna say, Talon De Silva has actually played really well
and he
for
won't
the
even
for the
cost you that
Tigers.
much,
Yeah, he's
and he
deputizing very well.
and he's going to improve immensely.
I do think that we have a couple of options in Bailey Haywood, but then we've also got a couple of nines that we can throw in from New South Wales Cup, so we don't necessarily have to go to the market. But I don't think like we're talking way out. I'm just saying Marnie hasn't had the best start to the season. I'm not saying that we need to get rid of Marnie. I'm just saying that Marnie's attack needs to improve. He's been a lot better. Um, he's been a lot better in defense in terms of missed tackles this year, but I still think that he needs to improve just a little bit, and he's probably the one that's standing out. Everyone else is. I mean, I think Sherry's gonna have an absolute bolter against the Sharks. He's been really, really good. Jamie Teasdale, yeah, we've got Turpin if need be. I think it could be an option as a backup dummy half because I don't know if playing Marnie for 80 minutes is the go moving forward. But again, I think like I'm nitpicking a little bit on Marnie, but look, I do love Marnie, so he came when very few would took a gamble on us, and I think it's fantastic. And you have to repay the loyalty and give him a chance to get back to his best. That's the way I think that it should happen, and that's why I think it will happen. But what I do want to talk about now is the Bulldogs versus Sharks game. What is everybody's thoughts on the game? And do we think the Bulldogs can come away with the win?
Me, it's a no. Obviously, they're missing some players, the Dogs, and just the way they played against what's he called against Para, just has the alarm bells ringing on that one. I mean, it's good they got the two against Para. They got Cronulla. That's the tough game they really need. Obviously, without some players, just to bring some players back to reality where they stand at. So not a loss won't be a bad thing. I reckon in this case will be actually a good thing leading into the bye. We'll give a lot of players a good hard look at themselves. It'll show them where they're at. So it's a hard steely game that you guys need, and it's come at the right time of the season, to be honest. So I expect them to really start aiming up. It's what they need. They've had three nuffy teams: the Dragons. I forgot who he's played last week. Oh, Titans.
Titans, yeah.
Yep, and then Para. You know, he's got the 3 out of 3. Perfect. Now it's time for the players to get a reality check. I feel, and it's not a bad thing either. It's what you want. You
See,
know, and it's without missing some of their key players. So this is probably come at the best time possible for you guys.
see, I'm as a Bulldogs fan, I'm always going to be optimistic. Obviously,
Oh, hands
um,
down, yeah.
look, I do think if we're able, like everybody said the Titans were gonna come out and
Your Dogs fans are really optimistic. Some Nepalese Bulldogs fans having a go at me. Did you read his comment? Ignore this hater. They're going to turn Hurstville blue and white. Please, bro.
if you look at so a couple of things I want to talk about, right? If everyone said that a lot of people said the Titans have a big full pack, they're going to come out and dominate, and we're going to be run over. What actually happened was we ended up dominating and ran over them. Now I know we're missing Burden and kick out. I'm going to keep that in mind when having this discussion, right? Um, this would be a challenge for any team. Missing their two-star players to come up against a Sharks team that ran rampant against the Rabbitohs, right? They are missing Hamlin Uele, but they do get Tom Hazelton back. We are missing Burden, Kiraz, and Kickout. So how do we win this? I think that the Bulldogs will have to go out there and absolutely choke the life. That's it. Choke the life out of the Sharks. We need to aim up in it as in the forwards. And the one thing that I think needs to happen is that Curtis Morin and Daniel Saluka Fafita need to play more than 30 minutes combined. Against the Eels, Curtis Morin played 12 minutes. Daniel Saluka Fafita played 18 minutes. If we are to be able to hold out that forward pack by the Sharks, you've got Adam Finnell-Blake, Oregon Kafusi, Brinton Nikora, Tig Wilson, Siosif Fatalakai, Tom Hazelton, Tapuha. We need our forwards playing. We need them matching them, right? And that's where I think our defense is. We'll be able to hold them out. If we do win, it'll be a very, very tight contest. But honestly, I do actually believe that we can win. I genuinely believe that we can go out there and win. Having said that, if we lose to the Sharks and then beat the Knights and then go into the bye, 4 or 5 as we get to the bye, I'll fully take that. I will totally take that. But I want to see the Dogs come out firing against the Sharks. I want to see them start on fire the first 20 minutes. And the one thing I noticed as well was that I felt like uh, Sexton owned everything and Bailey Haywood didn't add as much. But when Bailey Haywood did join in, I feel like our attack clicked a lot better. So I'm really interested to see Bailey Haywood get a little bit more involved. It'll be a great game to watch. I think this will be the game of the round, and it'll be close. It'll be close. I think that we won't have the poor defensive issues that the Rabbitohs showed against them last week. What do you guys think of that? What do you think of that, Dibbo?
I think you're just being really optimistic. I mean, I still think, yeah, you've definitely played better than last week. Yeah, but Cronulla's just, besides that opening round, they're starting to build. It's the tough game you guys really need. I still think you guys have a lot of improvement to make.
Do you not think though? Do you not think?
It's at the same time, it is unfair to judge you guys because you guys, I've already played the Dragons, Titans, and Eels, so 3 of the cellar dwellers.
I mean, do you not think though that the Sharks have a tendency to struggle against particular defensive systems?
Not really.
You,
I mean, they've
they
got a
they struggle against the Panthers. They struggle against the Storm. Last year, for example, once we got our defense right, we were able to shut them out. Sure, we did win in the in Golden Point, or whatever. But I still think that Sharks have a tendency to overly rely on their big men when they start to get choked out and cannot adapt quickly enough. I don't know if that's still going to be the case. But I think that the Bulldogs can genuinely, suffocate the Sharks' attack quite considerably.
a bit of they got Fanua Blake now, a bit of a different kettle of fish. um, this year, Cronulla. I think the Dogs haven't hit their straps yet. Their defense, look, their defense hasn't hit its peak yet. The Dogs, right? So we're not at the defense that they were midway through last year. If you remember, they were impenetrable. They're actually behind there. Basically, they're behind that level at the moment. To think they're at that level yet is no. You're not in
Look,
reality.
I do think you're right. I do think that there's a long way to go, but I also think that the Sharks also haven't hit their straps. Like they're also not
No,
at that point.
but they're
You know what I'm
building.
saying? Like they are building, but so are the Dogs.
The Dogs, we won't know till this week. I still think they've got a lot of improvement. They need a hard game, and this is the game they need.
Agreed. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm really excited about this game. If the Dogs can come away with this, I think we will blow the Knights away quite considerably. I want to
Oh,
quickly mention.
I think you guys will destroy the Knights. Definitely, that's something I agree on.
Um, yeah, but I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, I think Sharks
I don't
might
know who
pinch
wants
it
to
early
marry you,
anyway.
but just let them know you're married already, unless you want a second wife. I don't know if MKTV is even a guy or a girl. Thanks, Mariana. I've seen your comment there. Thank you.
Thanks,
Um,
Mariana. We love having you guys. Very quickly, just want to talk about Josh Curran. That
I
was.
just want to just quickly. I just want to give a
Yeah.
shout out to Harry Hayes. I think he's been solid in
Oh
every
yeah,
game he's
Harry
played
has
for
been
you guys this
fantastic this
year.
year. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been great this year. Hoping to see a little bit more from Saluka Fafita this week. Just quickly, Josh Curran on the spirit of the game. I reckon that penalty was fair, right? I'm happy. Like I think honestly, I think
I've
it was
never
a fair
seen that.
penalty.
I've never seen that given.
I get it. I get the penalty, but it wasn't because it wasn't in the spirit of the game. It was more because it was impersonating a referee. And I know that people have been doing it for ages. Like we know players have done this for a very long time. You know, all the ex players have come out and said this was something that that's part and parcel of the game. I thought it was funny. It didn't really amount to much, but I just think the ref got it wrong. It wasn't because it was against the spirit of the game. It was just because Karen was impersonating a referee. And you know what? I hope Karen tries it again next week and gets away with it. That's what I hope Curran does. I hope he keeps going.
Yeah. It's good he got off anyway. That was funny. I've never seen that before. The closest I've seen something like that is watching a replay of the 1989 Grand Final. Somebody used Bill Harrigan as a shepherd. Who was? I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was. I can't remember if it was Benny Elias or something. He just grabbed Bill Harrigan and used him to run behind him, and then Bill Harrigan penalised him. That was probably the closest I've seen.
With that, I want to give a tip. I think the final score will be 20-16, Bulldogs way.
I'm gonna go. Where's the game at?
Shark Park.
Oh, it is too. I'm gonna go Cronulla 32. I'm gonna go Canterbury 10. Yes,
That's
reality
a
check.
rubbish shout, and the Bulldogs will not have 32 put against them.
It's a reality check they're going to need. It's a Sunday game, isn't it? No, hang on a sec. It's a
Listen, no,
Saturday night
Saturday
game.
night.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
if the Sharks could only put 26, if the Sharks could only put 26 against the Rabbitohs, they're not going to put 32 against the Bulldogs. Believe me, like our defense is infinitely better than the Rabbitohs. Mate, the Rabbitohs almost lost to you guys, right? So
I
I
don't
just
get it.
don't.
The Rabbitohs are better than us guys, if you're putting it that way.
No, no.
Okay.
I just reckon. I reckon you're
I
you're
don't think.
hoping the Bulldogs don't go 4-0 because the Dragons won't be within even with a cooey
Oh,
of coming close to
They
us.
won't get them this year, to be honest. I think Burton just makes the massive difference with you guys. Seems. I mean, he's only scored 2 tries. Was it 2 tries? The only guy scored against Para.
No, three, but he
Oh, the
missed.
kicker couldn't convert. See, that's what I mean. Like, that was just
Yeah, but
concerning, that performance.
no.
Anyways, I'll get a nice reality check this year, and it'll be the better for him, like you'll see in the long run.
We'll see, Dibbo. We're gonna come back next week after Eid, and we're gonna see who it is that's right or wrong. Even if we lose, we won't lose by that many. There's no way we'll lose by more than 8 to 10
Oh
points.
yeah, well, I hope the boys turn up. I mean, if they don't turn up, if they turn up, that's good news, honestly.
They will turn up.
If they don't turn up, obviously,
Anyway,
yeah,
with that,
the whip will come out at training. We know that for
with
sure.
that, I'm gonna give very quick. I want to give just your very quick tips, just on based on who we think is going to win, just because we watch every single game.
Yep.
Rabbitohs and Panthers. I think Panthers.
Whew. I'll
Panthers will
take
come back for this one.
Hang on a
It's
sec. I'm going to go Rabbitohs. Both sides are missing immense play. A lot of players. There's no the halves. Have you seen the halves at Penrith?
yeah, Cole and Tolau. But they've yeah, I'm going Penrith. It's at Aqua. Roosters Titans. I'm going Titans. Even though it's at Allianz, I'm going Titans.
Roosters Titans. Ooh, I reckon Jaden Campbell's going to light it up. I'm going to go the Titans. I got them right last week. I'm going to go them again. I think they're turning the leaf slowly though.
Dolphins Broncos. I'm gonna go Dolphins. I
I'm
think
going to
that
go the
Dolphins.
Gronk. I'm going Broncos. Those
I
every
just
club that Bennett leaves seems to have he seems to end up in shambles.
You're right. Look, you're right, and only because they have Payne Haas, who is a winger impersonating a prop. Um,
He's Greg Inglis in a prop. Yeah, that's right. He's in the center. He's just a Ferrari.
Dragon Storm in Melbourne. I'm gonna
Uh,
go
is
Storm
it?
in a very
No,
tight one.
it's in Cogra.
Oh, is it in Cog? Oh, sorry, it is too.
I looked at
Ooh.
Melbourne's lineup. Their lineup's still stronger than the Dragons. I mean, all they're missing is Meany, Hughes, and Nelson Asafa Solomona.
So
I was
Clemmer makes his debut. Clemmer makes his debut for the Dragons, and Dylan Egan makes his first grade debut as well.
I was going to tip the Dragons, but then I looked at Melbourne's lineup. I thought, "Oh, they're still stronger than the Dragons."
Mm.
So I'm going to go Melbourne by 14.
I can't believe Tom Eisenhuth and Raymond Fatalamona are both dropped for Amy Stewart and Dylan Egan. I think
No,
it's a
no,
tough call to make, but it's a good call. It's a
Blake
good
Laurie,
call.
Blake Laurie got dropped. Understandable. Raymond, I thought was hard done by. Tom Eisenhuth hasn't played yet because he's just come back from concussion protocol.
Right, his name's
Yeah,
on the maybe he'll drop
probably the
in.
following week. No, he
Yeah,
won't. Uh,
Raiders Cowboys. Raiders Cowboys. I'm
Where
gonna
is that
go
at?
Queensland Country Bank Stadium. I'm gonna go Cowboys in a very tight one.
I'm going to go the Cowboys. Bloody Raiders. Yeah, they're
Yeah, but
falling apart.
they need to bounce back. Sharks Bulldogs. We all know Bulldogs are gonna put 50 on them. Seagulls Eels. Turbo's back. DCE's there. This
Seagulls
is
by 20 plus. Or
yeah, quickest score to the Seagulls.
30 plus. Garrick to get another hat trick. Or
Yeah,
Saab,
yeah,
one of them. Take your pick. Or
yeah.
Cooler or Hopawad. They're
Tigers
lining
versus
up.
Warriors at Campbelltown. I'm gonna go Tigers by 12
I'm going to go.
in Campbelltown with the way they've been playing. I'm gonna go Tigers by
I'm going to go the Warriors.
yeah,
The way they won again, I thought, okay, they're coming to
awesome.
play. I was about to expect them to fall apart. They've come to play.
All right, with that, thank you so much, guys, for joining. Next week, we will be going live a lot later, so it won't be at this time. Next week, we'll be going live around 7:30, but
Yep.
there'll be better marketing around it. There'll be better things. There'll be better graphics and stuff that we're preparing. It's just been Ramadan. It's been difficult, but inshallah, next week, we will be much later. There'll be much better preparation. Everything will be better. Thank you guys for being patient with us. If you're celebrating Ramadan and you guys have going to celebrate Eid Mubarak. If not, I really hope you guys have a great weekend. Up the Dogs, and I hope Melbourne put plenty on the Eels. Thank you so much for all your support, guys, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care and have a good one.